What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of 2014's E3 Roundup. We're going to be looking at Assassin's Creed Unity in this video, and I'm going to break down all the information that I could squeeze out of the Ubisoft conference and the various stage show demos. So, what is Assassin's Creed Unity? I'm not sure, actually. Is it Assassin's Creed 5? I don't know. I've tried to find information on that. There's no clarity anywhere to be found. But first things first, right away, Paris is huge. The buildings are apparently 1-to-1 scale. I don't know if that means the city is 1-to-1 scale, but the buildings are definitely 1-to-1 scale, which makes the addition of their new downward parkour mechanic totally sweet, because now you can just dive down a building without aiming or walking around looking for a way down, and just swing down like a monkey off of whatever's available to grab, and it's totally fucking awesome. And they only showed it briefly, but they actually included a wall run mechanic. You can sort of get a running head start horizontally up a wall as you're climbing sideways, sort of strafing along, and it just makes it look so much more fluid. And so back to the buildings, they actually made it so you can go inside most of them now, and it's not just like running and jumping through them to evade detection. You can actually walk around inside them. Emergent events happens. They're fully decorated with all sorts of ornate French crap. Well, not crap, but anyway, it's yeah, emergent events, NPCs, all sorts of crazy stuff can happen inside the buildings, and now they have included, wait for it, actual stealth mechanics. They've incorporated familiar mechanics where you can crouch and you can snap to cover with one button press and go around the corner with a button press, and it really, I mean, we've been waiting for this for a long time. How many times have we complained about this? So it looks like that feedback system from Assassin's Creed 4 finally helped us get that point across. They've made a few changes to Eagle Vision as well. I don't know if Eagle Pulse is the new name of Eagle Vision, but they made reference to that. I'm thinking maybe it's actually just one of the tiers of Eagle Vision, like one of the levels, because they said that you can actually level it up, which to me suggests, I don't know, maybe branching skill trees, which would be fucking awesome. I mean, in the Ubisoft gameplay commentary, they did mention lockpicking skill.
Fortunately, one of our friends has used his lockpick skill to open an alternate path,
which one of the co-op partners had. Arno didn't have access to it, and since everybody that's playing is playing as Arno on their screen, that means that either they reached a point in the campaign where it was unlocked that they hadn't reached yet in that demo, or it's a part of a branching skill tree and a skill that you can maybe not get if you pick something else. So I don't know, that to me either suggests a branching skill tree or maybe some sort of profession system, like a class system that, or I guess not a class system, but a job system. I mean, obviously they're not going to go that far because it's not like a full-blown RPG, but maybe if you're like a more thief kind of assassin, you can pickpocket more cash or like get access to a room that's locked off unless you have the lockpicking skill. So that could be how they're going to make co-op be useful. I mean, aside from the missions, because there are apparently co-op specific missions. I don't think you're required to have co-op to do them, but then again, I don't think they even pop up unless there's a co-op partner around. And the co-op players actually show up in your game if they're on your friends list, walking around inside like taverns and stuff. They're there as sort of like a vessel waiting to be inhabited by the player, so that when they join the game, they don't just like spawn in and materialize. They sort of enter that vessel and then start moving around freely. Otherwise, that vessel's controlled by AI. They probably don't show up unless your friends are online, so they won't be there all the time. But that's actually really interesting, like a really cool way to incorporate having co-op drop in, drop out without having any sort of weird like Star Trek beam me up Scotty moment. So I don't think we'll have to be worrying about like random NPC assassins jumping in and screwing up your plans for an assassination mission unless they're controlled by another player. I guess that could still happen with them, at which point you'll probably just permanently remove them from your friends list. So speaking of the co-op, it actually stirred up a little bit of a controversy the day after the Ubisoft press conference. A bunch of people started wondering why there were no female assassins that were playable, since the avatars were just representations, just like skins of your character. They came back and said that the reason why they didn't do that was it would double their workload. And they also said that you're playing as Arno even on your screen. Just to everybody else, you look like a random different assassin. I don't know if you can customize them or what, but that didn't satisfy anybody. And then to pile on, a former Ubisoft employee came out and said that it actually wouldn't be that hard, and that it would probably take only 1 or 2 days of work to make that happen. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Does it really matter if one of the avatars is a female or not, especially since you're just playing as Arno and you see yourself as Arno? Or do you want yourself to be represented as a female no matter which video game you play, and you're all for gender equality? Which I'm all for too, I just don't think it actually matters in this case, since all you see is Arno while you're playing. So I don't know, leave a comment, let me know what you guys think about that, because I would like to see it, but I'm not offended that it's not included. What I'd like to see is a fully customizable assassin that is your like online representation of yourself. Then you can just go all out, and then definitely I would want a female to be included in that, a female option. I kind of want that for the multiplayer too, like not the co-op multiplayer, but the competitive multiplayer. I've always wished that it wasn't the way it is, where you're walking through the crowd and you've got a bunch of clones running around. I wish it was more like you are unique and they have to memorize what you look like and find you in the crowd, and as the match goes on they start to memorize you better and better, and it gets easier for them to find you and harder for you to hide. That to me would be a much more interesting and way more intense competitive match, especially with how many people they can fit into the crowds now. Like, they said that they can actually do up to 5,000 NPCs on screen at any given time. That's probably not in the competitive multiplayer though. But yeah, so I don't think anybody watched that press conference and didn't think to themselves, holy shit, how the hell did they get so many NPCs on that fucking screen? I'm not sure if they were playing on an actual Xbox One, because they were playing with an Xbox One controller. You can tell because in the video you see button prompts once in a while to like loot an NPC, and the B button for the Xbox comes up. It looks to me visually like it probably is on the Xbox One, which means you can probably expect it to look as good, if not better, on the PC and the PS4. But they might have pulled a fast one and been playing on a PC dev kit version of the game and making it seem like it was on Xbox One. But with games like The Order 1886 and Uncharted, I think that they might have actually found a way to bottle lightning in this case, and it will look this good on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. I think what they want to avoid what happened with Watch Dogs, and so they showed the lowest common denominator version of the graphics, which, I mean, I like all the consoles, I like PC, I like everything like that, but we all know the stories about how Xbox has difficulty maintaining the same visual fidelity and matching the resolution of its competition. But I digress. The last thing I want to do is start a console fanboy flame war here. Console equality, everybody should be for it. Competition is good. It keeps us getting the great products that we want. So, moving on. So, Monsieur Arnaud Darion, for some reason he has an English accent, has access to a new hidden blade, the Assassin's Blade. What it looks like to me is the traditional hidden blade with a crossbow functionality to it. So he bends his wrist back like Spider-Man, and out pops the 2 lathes. I think that's actually how you pronounce it, lathes. Anyway, it can fire like poison darts like Assassin's Creed 2 and on through, and maybe bolts of various kinds, explosive. Well, that would be cool. Explosive bolts. I guess that remains to be seen. Going back a little bit, they actually also mentioned a new disguise mechanic. So apparently it's a skill, they said, actually, not a mechanic, a skill. So maybe that goes back to the whole branching skill trees thing I was talking about earlier. But anyway, apparently you can dress in disguises now, sort of like previous Assassin's Creed games, but this seems like it can be done on the fly whenever you feel like it. And if done properly, it could lead to some really interesting gameplay. Which actually reminds me, they may have finally fixed the annoying missions that we've had to deal with for the past 6 games. The tailing missions, the escort missions, those still exist, but you can circumvent them entirely if you earlier in the game maybe have picked up the intel that you were going to get from them. You don't have to do that mission, or maybe you can run into a courier or something along the way who drops a note that has the same intel that you need, so you don't have to go tackle this guy or tail him or whatever. And so it seems like they've made it to where there's many different ways to approach the same mission, so that we don't have to all deal with those same tailing and escort missions that drove everybody mad. So yeah, with all that in mind, I've become really excited for this game. I'm usually excited for every Assassin's Creed game, but this one has done more to make changes than even Black Flag did, I think. I mean, the ship battles are great, but the last game didn't feel very Assassin's Creedy, and this game brings it back to the Assassin's Creed stuff. And I'm actually one of those people that likes the sci-fi of it all just as much as the historical aspects, so it's just nice to see them getting back to that. So for me, the conclusion is that the game has been upgraded from a must-have to a priority one purchase, and it will be available October 28th, 2014 on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. So thanks for watching, click like, click subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Skadoosh! Jesus Christ, I need a new outro.
Assassin's Creed Unity.